Welcome back, folks. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today we decided to go all the way back to the beginning. Not even going to throw the box down. That's our throw down there. Adjust the camera. So my name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. Today I have a patron over here, old Shimon, all the way from Woodinville, Washington State, not DC, and we're doing a throwback video all the way back to the very beginning of Flesh and Blood. The very first box of Welcome to Rathe, the beginning that started it all, and of course, the rest is history now. And I know it's kind of crazy to think that this is becoming like, this is, I guess, almost 5 years ago now. I know, 5 years, folks. It's a little nostalgic. It's a little, I'll be honest with you, it's a little terrifying how much time and how quick things go by, and it's a little terrifying to stop and think about this stuff and to realize how quick things go by sometimes. And I think we all kind of forget many times life is a short little journey, and it's a vast universe out there. So as we do one little throwback box here, we're going to discuss the journey that has been Flesh and Blood. We remember the order of the packs and everything. Back-to-back pummel, that's kind of funny. Alpha pink stripes. I think okay, so that's the rarity. Nice pink stripe blackout kick. And when we say pink stripe, by the way, obviously this is supposed to be a red stripe. The Alpha boxes have the pink stripe for those of you new to the channel. And yes, see, that actually says S. These are actually super rares. That is a slot that's not really a thing anymore. Foil common. But yes, back in the very beginning there, we did have super rares. That was kind of a strange little era, and they consolidated the amount of rarity slots. As of the filming of this video, I would say these boxes, looking at like eBay, TCG Player, there's not really a lot online listed, so that's kind of the first thing to get out in the open. The boxes that are listed, they average around what, maybe $2,500 a box range, and there's really Drone of Brutality with the pink stripe. Boy, that's there's a little throwback, everybody. And beautiful, beautiful Remembrance. That is our first super rare actual in the foiling slot. Box prices, again, like we talked about, you can see some little, the black border there, see a little bit of printer dust and everything. Not really a lot to talk about as far as the swings or anything. The WTR and the ARC boxes have been quite stable. We haven't really seen any major upticks or tanks or anything, but there's just not a lot left online. And I know, razor reflex, it's just kind of a weird thing, you know, Ooh, there's a nice one. I wish it was foil, but hey, we have a majestic first one in the box of a Crippling Crush. Again, some of these things are not cheap, even non-foil there. Beautiful Bellow in the foil common. Crippling Crush is a very iconic Guardian card there, everybody. And especially in foil, that's not a cheap card. I think the foil one of that thing's probably in the hundreds. I do not know what the value is of the non-foil, but they're quite pricey for the collectors that like these originals, man. It is definitely a very different little world out there. All right, here we go, everybody. Ready? First rare, Disable. The old Blackout, and the old Debilitate foil common. Wrecker Romp over here, Womp Womp. And of course, in the back there, we got a nice little club there. I still think, I've always kind of felt for a while that these Alpha, the ARC in the WTR and the crew, the first block is becoming such a infamous era of the beginning of Flesh and Blood. It's some people say it's very controversial. Oops, beautiful scar for a scar there. Some people say it's just very iconic. And Yellow Stripe Drone. And the old Breakneck for the rare, and Flustery Fist. And that's our first foil rare, actually, of the box. And a lot of people, there's just a lot of history from the beginnings compared to now. A lot of people who've been in Flesh and Blood the last few years are actually not super familiar and actually not very aware of a lot of the turbulent beginnings of 2019, 2020 when this game came to market and blew up and went crazy, and the market was just obsessed. And it was a very different era, everybody. And ready? Flick Flack. And the old Iron Song response there. Beautiful, beautiful art there. And that is just a common there, everybody. Into the little mallet in the back there. I don't think we ever really revisit that kind of craziness. It was a very special set of circumstances between the 2020 quarantines and virus stuff, and then of course the market turbulence and the culture of the time was a very nice sigil there. Nice black swan event, as they say. We got the Valor and Scar for a Scar. Beautiful foil common there. And, there was a lot of things that had to line up very specifically just to even make that era kind of come together and even happen. That's so weird. Look at this, folks. These alpha packs, especially, I don't know if it's because they're getting older, but I've noticed a lot of these alpha packs, like the layers, like the outer thin wrapping, which you can almost see through, and the inner foiling there, it's very easy. When I rip the packs apart, as you can see, they kind of separate. And it's kind of a very strange thing for these alpha packs. I've seen that on many boxes over the years, and I always thought that was kind of a weird little phenomenon with the original printing of these things. I don't know if that was intentional or maybe just the way Cartamundi actually printed these things. It was definitely strange. Savage Feast. We got a nice little breakneck for the rare, and the old Spellblade for the foil rare, everybody. Crushing some confidence back here all the way to a beautiful, beautiful young Dorinthia. And so far, like I said, Shimon, so far, very, very calm start here. Not really a dumpster fire, nothing really exotic happening. I think a lot of the questions I'll get into here in a second is, people ask me about the market. The old yellow Snatcheroonie. We got the old Flickety Flacken yellow. And of course, ooh, nice little razor reflex there. I want to kind of, some basic things I get questions on privately with patrons still all the time is, number one, do I think there's a lot of these alpha boxes still left in the world sealed? And do I think there's, what do I think the future of the beginnings of Flesh and Blood is? No, I don't think there's a lot of these alpha boxes sealed left in the world. I'll be very quick and very blunt about that answer. As the price went up, most people sold. And yep, we had the old bonehead there, the old brute giving you the look, am I right? And of course, the blow for the foil common. No, I do not believe there are like thousands. I'll be honest with you, I don't even think there's thousands. I don't even think there's 1,000 boxes left after 5 years of WTR Alpha. I don't believe it. I look online, and the people I know, at least from the beginnings of Flesh and Blood, who have some boxes or a case or some loose boxes left, I mean, we're talking 1 to 4, maybe 8 boxes. There's just... Oh! Ah! I saw the gold foil. We got the bolters, everybody. Yes, it's just a common. You can see it down there. We did get a cold foil, so it is not a non-cold foil box, everyone. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bolters cold foil common. Looks like, is that marking or dust? Oh, that is just dust on the card. I will put it in a sleeve so everyone doesn't go crazy on me. I'm assuming he has the typical little corner dings there, as they all do. And nice little bolters. And remember, folks, even cold foil commons and things like that, like if I have to take a guess right now, dude, it's still expensive. Like, I understand we only hit some bolters, but first of all, this is a very iconic actual kind of leg gear for the Warrior here. Again, this is Rudy spitballing, make fun of me because I never know what I'm talking about. I'm still going to guess that's got to be a $500 card. Even for cold foil common, that still has to be at least a $500 card. Because like I said, even cards like Crippling Crush, and again, I'm just guessing here, I could be completely wrong. I'm going to guess even cards like this, $30, $40 non-foil, and it's in the hundreds of foil. I mean, some of these old cards, they are still very, very pricey, everybody. Just because they are not the foil, or just not because they're not a fabled or something, they are not cheap. Some of these things, nice little steel there, are still quite pricey. So I just want to kind of lay that out there with everybody, okay? It is something that I know sometimes it was, a lot of newer people in the fab world go, oh, cold foil common, must be $5, right? Cold foils aren't worth anything. Hey, the old pink Snatcheroonie for the iconic, infamous beginning card there. The battery, and a beautiful, beautiful pink striped scar for a scar. That's a nice piece of history, everybody. But I just, I have to say this kind of stuff because, again, a lot of you all watching this channel, and, I have patrons now that have been buying, Flesh and Blood or kits from me at release, and they've been doing this just maybe since Dynasty, or maybe since Dusk Till Dawn, or maybe recently they joined from Heavy Hitters in the Misty. And a lot of people are not familiar with some of these older sets where, yeah, even a cold foil common like this can be like $500. And, this is a very, very different era in world. Super rare, the old route. Yeah, Braunhide. So that's something I want to kind of remind everybody that, even some of these commons, especially the pink stripes and things, these WTR Alpha first edition stuff was this is not kind of, how do I say this? Droid brutality. Is this thing still like banned in all the problems from the back in the day? Is that even in I don't even know if that's, I remember it was a big thing, wounded the bull. It's just a very different thing. And I know there's going to be people who are going to watch this video, old farts like me from 5 years ago at the beginning, and they're going to remember a lot of history of Fab. And I know you're going to have people you're going to have pretty much 3 types of comments and 3 types of people watching this video. You're going to have Disable, Savage Feast, and the response. Kind of one of 3 types of people are going to watch this video. Number 1, we're going to have people from the early days who are going to watch this video and say, oh man, nostalgia, bring back memory. I remember when people were crazy and the prices. You're going to have a lot of people talking about the history and the growth and everything that happened with early days of Flesh and Blood, okay? Number 2, you're going to have people who watch this and are going to say, oh, this is why, Fab is dead. We don't have this kind of feeling. We don't have the excitement. This is all gone and never coming back. Then you're going to have people, number 3, saying, I'm confused. Really? Wreck-Rock? I'm confused. Why is a cold foil common $500? That's what's wrong with Flesh and Blood. And, then you're going to have the internet, kind of the social media, Twitter people who, more of the game piece army attitude. You're going to have that endless tug of, hey, Reckless Swing, super rare. And, debilitates. You're going to have that kind of typical internet, social media tug of war that's gone on for the last 5 years with Flesh and Blood. I don't think it's ever really going to be settled. It's similar to the Magic and Pokemon and the Weiss and the Yu-Gi-Oh! And all these things going on. These card games battle the different demographics and attitudes and social media and everything, okay? And depending where you get your information from and depending who you're reading and if you're reading posts on MySpace and Facebook, if you're getting feedback on, Twitter and OnlyFans, or if you're watching YouTubers, or you're at a local store, depending on where you are and where you're absorbing your information is going to dictate how you're going to feel about what's going on or what the right or wrong thing to do. Wow, our first potion of the video. We haven't even gotten a potion yet. Fliggity Flack for the first appearance. And the Brawnhide. Pink stripe, at least. And, of course, in the back, little young Bravo looking like he's hot stuff. So we're down to the last 4 packs here. Overall, I mean, pretty average WTR Alpha box. We don't have a foil Majestic yet. No, we do not have a foil. We have a foil Super Rare. We have no foil Majestic. Again, at least we got a nice $500, at least I think it's $500. Cold foil common there. And then we got a ton of $5, $10 cards. But so far we have not hit anything absolutely insane. But it's been a very smooth, fun start here. Beatdown. And of course, hey, Alpha Rampage. That is a Majestic there. Old school Majestic. Very nice. And the Driving Blade. That is just a common. Nothing crazy there in the foil slot. And in the back, a little club to beat you on the head, everybody. So I'll yap a little bit more here. I know we're about to wrap this up over here. And then we only got a couple packs left as we head into the Sigil of Solace. And all right, little feast action. And we got a Yellow Snatch over here for the foil rare, everybody. So I do think that these cards in the original block of Flesh and Blood will continue to go down in history as a very infamous, very iconic, and a very dramatic beginning of a card game. Ooh, Pink Snatch. Pink Disable. And really? Rising Knee Thrust. I like the art, but just a foil common, everybody. And you guys can see some of the cards here. When we scroll through them, you guys see how, you'll see, little marks on one of the cards and different things. Last pack, everybody. I'm not expecting anything, but you know what? You never know. I have seen crazy things happen over the years when doing box openings in person and online. Ooh, Seeing Steel Blade. That's a nice super rare. Good old, gorgeous. That's one of my favorite pieces of art from the beginning there. Absolutely awesome. Really? Ending on a stroke. Not a great way to end the video there, but... So that's kind of the what I see continuing happening. As far as these really old things go, like I said, I don't think we're ever going to revisit that type of euphoric drama, excitement, and FOMO and everything that happened in the early days of Flesh and Blood. And, there's always the endless argument now of looking back from that era. Was that a healthy, should that have ever happened? Was that the downfall of Flesh and Blood that caused the, 2.0 removal? There's all these stories and people's opinions and internet attitude. There's always going to be now into the future it's almost going to become folklore and fairy tales at the beginning of what happened. That's kind of my opinion. We're at the point where over the coming years, it's going to continue, as the more years go under the belt. I mean, I can't believe we're talking like 5 years now. Like, that's so insane to me. I just think as the 5 years turns into a decade-old card game and Fab continues in the future, I mean, I don't think they're disappearing. They're very stable and doing well. But I think the stories at the beginning are going to become more folklore and more crazy. And I think a lot of it's going to get lost into the abyss of time. And I think it's going to be very, very difficult as the years continue to roll by for people to actually remember and understand what actually happened at the beginning and how things got crazy and a lot of the excitement, the turbulence, and the volatility of the beginning, especially during the infamous. I mean, this was all, things were going crazy in 2020 when Crucible of War launched on the third release. And, this was a very turbulent time in human history. This was, with the countries and the worlds and the pandemics, the politics, the drama, the culture shift, the culture wars. And, we entered into a very strange decade right when this card game started going crazy and became very, very polarized. Everybody started getting pretty crazy with it all. And I don't think we ever really see that again. I think that's just for the history books now. And, whether or not that's a good or bad thing, that's going to be up to who you talk to. But I think moving forward, the fact that we do know is there's just not a lot left of this stuff sealed in the market. The WTR Alpha, the ARC, specifically those two, and the Crew, the original block, has a very low print run. And in my opinion, these Alpha boxes, people ask me, I get patron messages, Rudy, do you think there's even 1,000 Alpha boxes left sealed? And I don't. Out of the original print run of around 16,000, I'm going to guess there's probably maybe, oh my God, I'm going to guess maybe 500 boxes left sealed in the world, maybe. That's a guess. No evidence or anything. I could be way off. But based on what I see online, how thin the market is, I mean, even if you had endless billions of dollars, you go on a TCG player, I mean, what can you buy? 5 boxes maybe? Maybe if you're lucky, maybe you want to overpay for the last few and maybe get 10 boxes. I mean, there's just not much of this left. I know some of it changes hands on private transactions, and then if you want to talk like sealed cases and stuff like that, forget it. There's just not a lot left out there, folks. So thanks for listening to Rudy's little journey down history lane, everybody. It was a very enjoyable, calm throwback here. I'm going to call this an average box opening. Unfortunately, I mean, we didn't get any major, hits in the cold foil, the legendaries, or of course the fables, but it was, it could have been worse. And, we've opened boxes with 0 cold foils in them. And that is a very known problem on these original WTR and ARC era boxes. We could easily open these and get no cold foil at all. So just the fact, hey, I think we got a $500 cold foil. That alone, we really can't be too upset by that because, not including all the other rares and foils and pinkas and, the cripplings over here. I mean, I'd say we have to have probably $1,000 in cards and value, which is still nowhere near going to be your $2,500 for the sealed box. But that's the nature of cracking random boxes. We have no idea. And thankfully, it wasn't a dumpster fire where we got nothing, but this would be right down the middle. So nothing too crazy to report, everybody. That's all I have. Let's see here. As far as news, before we end the video, just a reminder to everybody coming up here. We are in the process of the big Magic the Gathering Bloomburrow release. We got the new Pokemon Shrouded Fates coming up here in the next few weeks. We got a very private surprise sorcery beta sale coming up in a few weeks that no one knows about yet. And we are working on I don't know, maybe we do something fun. Maybe we do a surprise sorcery beta sale with the patrons and you guys. And maybe we throw in every order gets like a free sorcery alpha, random common uncommon type card for free in the box, And we do some fun stuff there. And then, of course, going into September, we got the big Rosetta launch for the new Flesh and Blood set. Everybody's very, very curious to see how that is following the Queen Misty is absolute home run Flesh and Blood set. And then, of course, going into October, we got more Magic releases and, of course, the Monster Sorcery Arthurian Legends. And it should be a quite wild ride. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope everyone has a beautiful day out there.